What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to Gamble and Gains, and welcome to the first ever Gamble and Gains gym vlog. We are here today at Absolute Recomp, about to hit some arms and some chest. That's enough talk. Let's get to it. So arms and chest today, one of my favorite groups of the week to do. See, we're going to alternate between chest and arms on each one of those exercises. Gives myself enough time to recover. That way we can really hit each muscle group as hard as we want. So starting here with that dumbbell incline bench press. In that upper left corner, we're going to have a rep counter going for you the whole day. Over there on the right side, current with the weight, that orange tab is going to be what I'm hitting on this particular round. So the goal here, as we know, is to kind of hit that 8 to 12 rep range. And on this first set, I actually felt really good. Right, so I'm at 9 now, pushing it up to 10, and it's starting to get a little heavy on me there. 11, and then that one more. Can I get one more? Yeah, you bet I can. All right, so hit 12 on that first one. All right, set number 2, here we go. These weights start to get a little heavier earlier than I like, and you know, that's just going to be an indication that I probably didn't eat enough today. This set I did okay on, as you can kind of see, but you can already see me struggling here on numbers 5, 6, 7. And just, if you guys like what you're seeing here, you can go ahead and give me a follow over on X and on TikTok. I got the same @ over there. It's going to be at Gamble and Gains. And let's see, I think I got one more in me here. Nope, just 9. We're going to stop at 9 there. So not too bad. On to that third and final set, followed by that drop set down to 45 pounds. Here, it was really getting heavy, and I typically actually like to do 4 sets of 75, but today was just really feeling like, to make sure I got the most out of this exercise, to just really crank out those 3, and that's why I really did 3 across the board. So you see there, got 6 done. So now I'm going to pick up those 45s right away and just pump out. So the number of reps here really isn't that important. You're just really trying to work yourself to absolute failure by dropping that weight down. And here we go, a few more. All right, there we go. So now we're going to move on to this cross body hammer curl. This is a really great exercise. I love it because it's really working that forearm and that bicep. So we're pumping in here 5, counting 1 rep for each side. So we got 6 now. So the gym I'm at is Absolute Recomp, and I've been in love with this ever since I got there. They have so much great equipment that you'll really be able to see showcased through a lot of the different future vlogs that I do. And as we even go through this video, I'll kind of explain why I like it so much and why I emphasize the cables so much as well. So here I think I got to 14 and I had to put it down. So on to set number 2. So I'm cranking these out with 45s, which is pretty good. I moved this up in weight probably about a couple weeks back. So I was at 40s. Now repping out with 45, and with the biceps, and you'll kind of see this later in the video too, I tend to go on the higher rep side as opposed to the chest. The chest are just such a big muscle group. I think it's really important to hit as much weight as you comfortably can in those different rep ranges. So what I typically do in my program, as you see that pump cover come off, and now it's time to really get started. I typically like to go with a progressive overload format where I'll start with a rep range of 6 to 8, and once I can kind of midpoint that and average about 7 over either 3 or a 4 set exercise, I'll then move it up to 6 to 10, and then once I can hit that midpoint, so about 8, 8.5, I really want to be above 8, so really targeting that like 8.5 range. I'll then move it up even further to that 8 to 12. And for most of the body parts, most of the groups that I'm hitting, once I can comfortably hit, you know, I'm doing 4 sets, I'll go, you know, 12, and if I can hit like 10, 8, I'd be pretty comfortable moving that weight back up and going back down to that 6 to 8 rep range. For the smaller muscle groups, so like the arms, I'm typically trying to hit that that 8 to 15 range and midpoint that with a couple of those sets hitting 15 before I decide to move it up a weight. And you'll see that again later in this video. So this next machine that I'm on here, this is a Panada equipment. So the gym I'm at is just decked out in Panada equipment. And if you don't know what it is, Panada equipment is some of the best in the industry. And I have not really come across anything by them that I don't like yet. So this is the multi-press. And what I like about this is I'm really able to get a full deep stretch on something very similar to a bench press. So I can really get that correct motion of the bench press without feeling that shoulder pain. So typically when I do the bench, I get a lot of shoulder pain. And I don't know about you, but it's really frustrating, and it makes me hesitant to do a bench press with the bar. So I'll either bench with the dumbbells, or I'll go over to something like this. So this Panada multi-press machine. So I'm at the end here, but it's just really comfortable. And you see that bar that can kind of come down. It lets you get that full deep stretch with that failure. Not being afraid of failing there, because you're not going to get crushed by the bar if and when you do fail. Because I really like taking sets to failure if I can. I just find that gets the most muscle growth, and it's really good for those progressive overload programs. Moving on to the machine curl. So here I'll either do a machine curl in a lot of my workouts, or I'll go to like a one-arm dumbbell curl on a preacher curl style. But here, yeah, again, follow on TikTok and X if you're interested, at Gambling Gains. If you like that type of content, you can find more of it there. So I'm on to set 2 now. Hit 12 on that first one. So if I only hit 12 on a bicep curl machine like this, I'm typically going to want to keep that weight where it was the next week. So I hit 8 there. So I'm failing pretty early now, and I think I got 4 or 5 here. 5. Yeah, so I only got 5. So we're going to keep that at 110 next time. Next time I go ahead and do this workout. So we're going to keep that at 110, and we're going to try and hit that 8 to 12 range. Once I can hit that 8 to 12 range pretty consistently, like I said, I like to bring that up to the 8 to 15 range. Okay, so moving on over to that tricep pull down. So using those 110s, using the rope, really trying to get that deep stretch at the bottom. And one thing that I found, if you're kind of starting to fail with that part where you pull the ropes apart, and you'll probably see it here soon, is put the rope together and just pull down as hard and for as long as you can. So I got the 15 there, and you're going to see it even more so. It's going to be a little bit more obvious. I moved the camera there for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. So I get to about 6, 7, 8, and right there, right, it gets too much to pull them apart. But you just keep cranking them down, and you can squeeze a few extra reps there. All right, one more. We're going to do 110, and then our drop set at 77. Again, I really love the drop sets. This is something that I picked up from a guy. You may have seen him if you watch the fitness industry. His name is Jim Stepani, and I'd signed up for a couple of his programs in the past, and he really loves the drop sets at the end. Because he really pushes to failure, and you can make sure you're still overloading the muscles and hitting that progressive overload, and then really tiring those muscles out, going to failure, and you're able to add more weight the next time. So now this one is the Sam Sulek special. He didn't create this, but he's popularized it. This is a wrist curl, so it doesn't look like I'm doing a whole much, but the overload on your forearms here is absolutely insane, and by the end of this you're gonna actually start to see a little bit of that pump even on screen. So that was the first round. I was able to rep out 15, the 99s. So I was actually able to get to 15 here again, and it was just a little too easy, so I'm gonna move it up to 110 for that last round. So this gym, right, they have so much equipment. I love all the equipment they have, but one of the really cool things is they have so many cables. And I've really found that at the back half of a workout that you're doing, if you have the ability to use cables, especially on a chest and arms day like this, they can be super beneficial. They don't require as much stabilizing effort as, right, those dumbbell incline presses that we were doing earlier, but you can still get a really good stretch, and it's not quite as isolating as the machines can be. So I love using cables, and this gym has a ton of cables, and you know, if you're pressed on time, it's also really good to be able to superset. And I'll show you these next two exercises after the wrist curl are two that I really like to superset. For the purposes of this video, I did not superset them, so you can kind of see what I'm doing each time. So first is the single arm cable cross low. So the cable cross is a really popular exercise. I started doing them actually single arm. And the reason for that is kind of twofold. One, when you get to that point where you start failing, you can cheat a little bit and still get a really, really good stretch on the chest muscle. And then two, you know, like gyms are busy and the cables are busy, and it's not always easy to be able to get two cables next to each other where you can actually do a full cable cross with both of your arms. So I really like doing the single arm, and I've been incorporating a lot more single arm stuff on both cable crosses, high cable cross, which you'll see later. On my shoulders days, I like doing single arm things on the cables. I like to do the cable lat raise. I like to do cable Y raise with single arm even. But yeah, so the single arm cable cross is one that I really like to pair. As you see me drop down to 44 for that drop set. So I was working both sides here. I was just showing you guys one side. But I really like to pair the single arm cable cross with the behind back cable curl for a superset. If you're a little bit pressed on time, you can kind of condense those two workouts into one because you keep those cables kind of at the same spot. So depending on where your gym is and what the different levels on your cable attachments are, mine for this, I set it to about 4, which for this gym is about knee height, and that's really where you want to be for these low exercises. Anything that's low, so your behind back cable curls, your low cable crosses, on your shoulder days when you're doing your cable lat raises, you really want it to be about knee height for anything like that. Alright, so last set on the 44s. Again, I did both sides. I'm not showing you both sides, I'm just showing you one round. So showed you 2 with my left, or sorry, 2 with my right, and now 2 with my left. So we did the 44s, drop that down to 22, rep it out, go to failure. It's okay to cheat a little bit, especially on those last 2 sets. You're really just trying to work those muscles to complete and total exhaustion. So next, we're going to do the overhead cable tricep extension. This is a tough one, and you can kind of see here, I'm getting a little tired. These are not full reps. Didn't really realize that until I was watching back this video, but you know, that's okay. What this tells me is that I didn't eat enough, right? And fueling yourself for a good workout is extremely important. Now, while this workout did end up being pretty good, I felt pretty good about myself after this workout, even though I didn't necessarily hit all my goals, which we'll review again. It really can make the difference between hitting a PR on a workout and not hitting a PR in your workout, just what you're putting in your body beforehand. So last round here, we're doing the 121s, and then we're going to drop that down to 77, rep it out to failure. My triceps are burning, my forearms are burning. You can see there, I end up getting to 10 on that rep counter, and I mean, those kind of partial reps there. I don't know if I'd really count those as full reps. Next time I do this exercise, I really need to make sure that I'm getting that full contraction followed by the extension. So up next, we have another combo of cable cross and curl. So this is the high cable cross, and I really like this one too. You can see again, I'm doing the single arm, and just again, I love the single arm cable stuff just because it's a lot easier to find one open cable in a gym than it is to find 2 right next to each other. And now this gym does have a lot that tend to be open, especially like at this time of recording. It was this Sunday afternoon. There was not a ton of people there, but it is still easier to just be able to find one, and you can kind of just post up on a cable for 30 or 40 minutes is about what I did, and just bang out all of these different exercises, targeting those arms, those chest. And it's one of the reasons why I really like combining arms and chest. You can really reduce that workout time by staying on, it's the same machine, but you're able to do so many different exercises with it. In the past, I've really done a split of back, arms, and chest, and then a shoulders and legs day. But now what I'm doing is I've actually split it up into 3 days, where we do chest and arms on the first one. I do back and shoulders on the second one. And the reason I do that is I had found that a lot of times on my back exercises, I was using too much biceps. And on my shoulder exercises, specifically like your military presses, your seated military presses, those types of things, I was using a little bit too much chest. So by burning out the muscles on day one that I was kind of using to cheat with historically on day two, I now have been able to kind of focus more on that squeeze, that muscle-mind connection on day two. When I am doing back, when I'm pulling down, I'm focusing on pulling the back together rather than focusing on just getting the weight down and cheating a little bit with the biceps. So looking here, I'm on that high cable curl, round two. The lighting in this gym is insane. You can kind of see the lights change, and actually they do a really cool thing. I didn't get to capture it in this video. Maybe you guys will be able to see it in a later version, but the lights will actually go red, like completely red, every hour at the top of the hour to just kind of let everybody know, you know, you've been working out here for an hour now. This is the time. But it's really cool. It has a really good vibe. It's just a really good vibe in the gym. Everybody's there training super, super hard. So last set, I'm going to record here doing that drop set at 22 pounds after banging out 10 on that high cable curl with 44 pounds. Getting there, almost there, and I'm done. Except I decided to do a chest finisher today. So for this one, I set it to 140 pounds. This is another great machine where I don't really feel any of that tension in my shoulders and it's all in the chest. So started with 140 pounds for 10 reps. What I did here, you see that asterisk next to the 140. I did a rest pause as opposed to a drop set. The drop set's the last one where I drop it down to 90, but a rest pause is, you know, you rest for 10 to 15 seconds and you go to failure one more time. Able to get 4 there, and then we're gonna go drop that weight down real quick, take those 25s off. I got 45 on each side. I count that as 90, not counting the weight of the bar, which I think is like 5 or 10 pounds, but not really all that important. Really just got one plate on either side. And here we go to finish off the workout. I hit 8 on this. You see me rep out those last few reps of the day, and there it goes down the weight. So now it's time to take a little bit of a review. So I've put back up on the screen what our plan was going into the day. So really alternating those muscle groups with those different chest and arms exercises. Overall, I think it was a pretty good workout and definitely not my best performance. I'm going to be standing pretty tight with most of the exercises I did today. But this is a really good reason as to why I record all of my workouts. I like to be able to see what I did last time and be competitive with myself and see if I can beat what I did last time in the next workout that I do. That's going to be all from me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and following along with my workout today. If you liked what you saw, please make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. You can also catch me over on X and Twitter at the same handle at Gamble and Gains. Really excited what I have coming for you guys next week. Should have 2 videos, another gym vlog, and a UFC 314 preview. I had a lot of fun making this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Please, everybody, make sure you stay safe out there. And remember, bet smart, lift heavy.